Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of COI Times, Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy.
So this is a great question. Is training military sheriffs receive military equipment and then special forces training alongside SWAT. So mine's are
God watching devastating video is made up Hurricane Harvey. That came out of nowhere.
We are building a wall on the southern border, which is absolutely necessary. Believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
That's in Revelation 16 and 19 verse.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 19.
Go ahead.
And the great city was divided into three parts.
That great city was divided into three parts. Didn't he say of a great earthquake before that?
Verse 18.
Go ahead.
And there were voices and thunders and lightnings. And there
Shalom,
was a great
brothers and sisters.
earthquake, such as
This
what
is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of
There was
COI
a great
Times,
earthquake.
Children of
as
Israel
was
Times in
not
the Days of Prophecy.
I have to say all glory and praise to AHAYAH, AHAYAH, Bahasham Yeshaya, Wa, Kodash, Wa. Shalom, Israel. And as you know, I'm Sister Kana, and I had to come back after a long hiatus and do the COI Times, Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy. I have to bring back the news. So much is going on, and I think that we have to speak about it from a biblical point of view. So let's get right into it. I wanted to talk about Hurricane Harvey, and you know the devastation that happened down in Texas, and everyone, we all know, those of you who are not asleep and that are paying attention, that, you know, HARP was used in these instances, and that they will continue using HARP with these fake natural disasters as they put people in FEMA camps, disaster after disaster. They are using this as a weapon of war to imprison the American people, but mainly the children of Israel. So I urge our people to wake up and get out of Babylon as soon as they can, and pack up and do what they can before your state is taken down by a natural disaster and you are placed into a FEMA camp and ultimately given the RFID chip.
Now you can add this drill to the long list of domestic training exercises that have occurred so far this year. FEMA Camp Roundup drills in Florida, martial law training in California, Marines prepping for riot control in Virginia, and of course the mother of all drills, Jade Helm.
Is a very powerful storm. This is the visible satellite image, and you can see as the sun comes out, look at this perfect Category 5 storm. 175-mile-per-hour sustained winds. At its peak, Katrina was 175. We haven't seen a storm of this strength in 10 years since Felix in 2007.
Millions of Americans are looking ahead to another potential disaster. Hurricane Irma was just upgraded to a Category 5 storm. It now packs maximum sustained winds of 175 miles an hour.
So wind speeds at 175 miles per hour, which is unbelievable. Gusts at 185. So a strong Category 5 hurricane as it approaches the Leeward Islands. That is an absolutely devastating and catastrophic hurricane for these islands. Hurricane warnings have been issued, and hopefully their plans are in place, because a Category 5, that is
technology on the cutting edge. We were interested today to hear that more than 100 law enforcement officials in Mexico are having microchips implanted in their arms. The chips allow a person to be scanned, sort of like a cereal box at the supermarket checkout. In Mexico, this will be one more tool in the fight against crime. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
You've seen it before, right out of Hollywood.
Maybe a little uncomfortable.
A microchip inside the body. A hidden, high-tech identification tag.
They're the access codes to your drop spot.
Now, Mexico's Attorney General and 160 of his deputies have had microchips implanted in their arms to control access to the country's new Criminal Investigation Center. It is to provide access, said the Attorney General, to the right people in exclusive areas where there is valuable, sensitive information. The microchip, the size of a grain of rice, is injected under the skin and gives off a low-frequency radio wave. A scanner reads each chip's identification number. to verify an official's security clearance.
The microchip is tamper-proof, it's secure. No one can take your microchip and use it to their advantage to gain access to your facility.
The chip, developed by Applied Digital Solutions, is similar to those used in the U.S. to identify and return runaway dogs. In humans, it can have several uses.
Little stick.
The chips can also be programmed to carry medical information. The one in this patient.
Yes, the mark of the beast. That's what this all boils down to, and that is the purpose of the whole, this whole fiasco, is to chip everyone and bring order out of chaos. And it's created chaos. Okay, so what people are not putting together is that Hurricane Harvey hit Texas at a time, very crucial time, because in 2015, Texas demanded $1 billion from the central bank. They wanted their gold back. They demanded to get their gold back from the Federal Reserve, and they got it back. And then when Jade Helm went into different states, they actually did Jade Helm in Texas, and they listed Texas as hostile. And no one is really talking about this, but I'm going to show you this clip to remind those who remember. And this is why Texas was one of the first states to be taken down. Actually, this year in 2017, they were supposed to create their own bank backed by gold. So that's a big no-no to the, the powers that at be. No one is allowed to open up their own bank. So this is what happens. You get the ultimate takedown, just like Saddam Hussein, just like Libya, Gaddafi, all the other nations and countries, when they start to think outside the box and want to create their own banks or money standard, they will be taken down. So Texas, inside America, decided to get their gold back from the Federal Reserve, the central bank, and they were the first one hit with this major hurricane.
No one has seen, but that is buried on the official Special Forces Command out of Florida's site. And Joe Biggs, when he read it during the last break, we knew exactly what we were seeing. This is sensational news. They want to hide this as a psyop in plain view for the troops, to brainwash them, the local police, and the citizens. They say this is to gain the hearts and minds of the people of Texas. They're doing these all over the country, and Texas is one of the only states in the U.S. on the map. Do they have it to pull up in there? This is sensational. I want people to see. Texas is listed in red as a hostile sector. I told you I'm deep behind enemy lines, folks. I mean, we are listed as a hostile sector. They're having Delta Force, Navy SEALs with the Army trained to basically take over. This is over the top. Texas is listed as a hostile sector. Now, of course we are. We're here defending the Republic, and the military's awake. This is what's waking them up. But my gosh, Joe, we just got this information, and they actually admit it's a psyop, and it's public, but no one knew about it. Thank God our let's just say intel friends sent us this, U.S. Army Special Operations, unclassified, and let's give people the code number up there at the top. Joe, tell folks about this.
All right, so this is a request to conduct realistic military training. The operation is going to be called Jade Helm 15. The commander of United States Army Special Operations Command seeks a written invitation and approval from local law officials to conduct realistic military training. So, like I said, this is going to be realistic military training conducted outside of federally owned property.
Outside Camp Swift and Bastrop.
So this will be in American citizens' backyards. So it says they'll be conducting all kinds of role-playing. It is a challenging 8-week joint military and interagency unconventional warfare exercise conducted throughout Texas. Now, like I said, this operation will be running from July 15th to 15th September, and the participants will be U.S. Army Special Forces, U.S. Navy SEALs, U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command, USMC Marine Special Operations Command, the Marine Expeditionary Unit.
This is a NORTHCOM Joint Forces warfare planning operation.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And this is, like you said, it's going to be a complete and total psyop. And one of the main things that I saw when I was looking at this, it lists Texas in red. And then when you look at the legend, it says red is hostile.
We have Texas making big moves.
Now, this is something that the United States would have literally gone to war with another country over. I mean, look what Muammar Gaddafi did, and I said this here in a recent video concerning China and Russia and gold. When Muammar Gaddafi announced he was going to make this denarii, this gold-backed system, for all of Africa, it wasn't no time. They were dropping bombs, and they killed him right there in the streets. Now, we've heard of all this talk with China. We've seen all the suspicious things happening, the explosions over there. And it's no secret that Russia and China are buddying up, and they're both against the West, and the West is against them. I talked about that in depth in the other video, but now we have a situation here in this country where Texas has stepped up. They've signed House Bill 483. Governor Greg Abbott did. And this establishes the state's only state-run gold depository, in one from which the gold cannot be confiscated by the feds. This bill establishes the Texas Bullion Depository as a secure facility for storing the gold wealth of not only the state and its associated agencies, but also the residents. Previously, all this was being stored in the HSBC banking vaults in New York City. And the people of Texas were paying up to $1 million a year just to have it housed there. And they're saying, no, we're not doing that. We're taking it back. And they're going to house gold here along with other precious metals. Now, this will be the first state-level facility of its kind in the nation. And I want to make everyone well aware of the most important thing out of all of this. They are going to issue a metal-backed currency. Do you see this? Other countries talk about doing this. You're talking about war. You're going against the money masters and their monopoly system here. And this is the stuff that some would say was along the lines of some of the reasons of why JFK got killed. The whole backing of our money system by gold, the US dollar. And look what Texas is looking to do. They are looking to create a currency that will rival the Federal Reserve. This will create a metal-backed money supply intended to rival the paper currency issued by the Federal Reserve. And they state that in this, no government or quasi-government will have authority whatsoever to freeze the account or the depository or take any of the assets. The only way they'd be able to do it is to go in there literally by war and seize it and take it. You see? This is a step that almost every other state needs to follow suit and do.
Okay, so now we understand why Texas had to be taken down. First of all, Texas was listed as hostile in the Jade Helm drills back in 2015 because of the guns that they have, and they probably could not control the people. So they listed them as hostile. Then during the same time in 2015, Texas had demanded $1 billion in gold to be returned from the central bank in New York. The Federal Reserve had to give them back $1 billion. $1 billion in gold, billions. So, and they were also going to open up their own bank backed by gold. So that was definitely an act of war. Any other country that, tried to open up their own currency or try to, start their own banks, they were taken down. Look at Saddam Hussein, look at Libya with Gaddafi, any nation, and that's why Iran and also China and Russia are enemies, because the powers that be will not allow any country to control their own money. So when Texas, which is inside the United States, announced that they wanted their gold back and then was going to start their own bank, and it was actually supposed to open early this year in 2017, they were hit by natural, disaster, the fake natural disasters, and was taken down, immobilized. So what happened in Texas was not an accident. Now, not to say that they wasn't planning already to, go by state with these natural disasters, these fake natural disasters. They were going to do that anyway. Texas just got in the way because they came up with the bright idea to start their own gold-backed currency and bank. Why did they think to do that? Anyway, so they were planning to take the children of Israel out and put them in FEMA camps and ship them anyway. But Texas was the first hit because of this reason. So when I come back, we're going to talk about Hurricane Irma. That's the next hurricane to hit the United States, and what's behind all that. We don't know exactly where it's going to hit, but it looks like Florida and possibly, they were saying, even New York. But we will see. But after this quick commercial, I'll be right back.
I told you travel.
You know we're in the last days, coming to the final phase. AHAYAH's gonna show his face to his people. You know it's time to go. You feel it in your soul. The Holy Spirit tells you so. Get ready. Go east. AHAYAH prepare to play.
I told you travel.
Go east. To be with you face to face.
I told you travel.
Go east. There is a safe place.
I told you travel.
Go east. For those who have an ear, let them hear. Go east.
I told you travel. Visit us at I told you travel.
Now we got Hurricane Irma on the way, and it's first they were saying it's going to hit New York by 9/11. Now it's talking about hitting Florida. What they're planning to do is state by state take down each state one by one with natural disasters and place people into FEMA camps so that ultimately they can be chipped. So I urge the children of Israel that who know what's going on. Do not sit any longer in America and waiting for your demise. It's time to come out of Babylon, and I urge you to come out before you're not able to come out. Also, we know that Trump is building the wall, which he's been talking about for the last, since his presidency started. He's building the wall, and that's the same wall in 70 AD that surrounded Jerusalem and the children of Israel before they were taken down. Nothing new is under the sun, and they are doing the same things over and over. The Bible tells us nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new, and that what was done will be done, because it worked for them before, and it's going to work again.
Okay. Now, first of all, I wanted to go into the siege. When I say the siege is a orchestrated plan to place a garrison or a fort around God's people. Now, of course, they'll use different pretexts, but all in all, the objective is the same. The objective is to number the children of Israel, to figure out a census on how many of the population they would need to come against or destroy. Then second of all, they would have to make a pretext to come against God's people. The propaganda machine could come up with anything. And then, but the end result is the armies coming with their swords drawn or their guns drawn to kill our people. You understand? That is the plan of the powers. Now, when we say there's nothing new under the sun, we went into the Josephus years ago and showed a few things of Masada, of how the Romans planned this against our people. How the Romans came together and said, you know what? Under the spirit of patriotism, let's go and destroy those Jews in Jerusalem and sack Jerusalem and take down those people and control their resources. Okay? This happened before. So this Roman conquest you see where the American armies and the Western world European armies going into these other countries, taking their resources, destroying them, but demonizing them first, is not a new it's not a new game. It's the same game over and over again. But the siege, the ultimate siege, is that impending battle between Jacob and Esau. I need you to read in the book of Josephus the plan of the siege. Now we go into the book of Josephus. We're going to be jumping around a little bit, but we're going to go into the book of Josephus and then bring you back into the Bible and then into the salvation to show you that there's nothing new under the sun. The elite and the powers of this earth are not playing with a new playbook. Okay? Their protocol is the same. Why? If it worked the first time, it'll work again. As long as they can keep the people distracted, dumbed down, not understanding what's going on, there's no need for them to construct a new program that worked perfectly when our people understood. If it worked for us when we totally understood who we were, they know that that plan will definitely work against us now.
People are sitting in America waiting, just like in 70 AD, and waiting on the priest or the men who were chosen to lead them to sit still, like they had more time. You are out of time. Get out of Babylon, okay? Okay, so we telling you that the fake natural disasters are fake. It's all a setup to get you to take the RFID chip. What they will do is, in order for you to get assistance from them and help, any kind of help, you will have to be chipped. And this is what the Bible warns you about. Do not take the chip. You are better off taking death before you take the chip. So I don't understand why people will sit in America waiting for a natural disaster to come. When you see it coming blow by blow, they are taking out these fake hurricanes, fake earthquakes, fake tsunamis. Everything is mastered by heart. Okay? Okay, so it's time to come out of Babylon. We are, the Bible tells us to gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We are the nation of Israel that is not desired. The Most High desires us, though. He asks us to come out and for us to start building our own nation, working on and preparing for what is about to go down. We have to prepare. We have to come together under one umbrella. One, not, everybody's trying to do their own thing. Babylon has taught us how to be separate, how to be selfish, how to not know how to come together. Everyone wants to come out, get their own apartments, paying a certain amount of rent. Listen, we have to come together. Just like the Sudanians, just like the Nigerians, just like the Puerto Ricans, they all can pile up in one house and live and, function until things get better, until they can buy a building or buy some land. This is how we have to learn to do, Israel. We have to come together and we have to stop the nonsense. A lot of different, all these different sects calling on different names. listen, there's only one holy mountain, and there's only one power that's calling the people out of Babylon. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahshua, Jehovah, he's not calling people out of Babylon. So if you're with a group that's calling on another name outside of AHAYAH, you should look at the people, and they're not going anywhere, and they're not even thinking of leaving. So that should tell you something. The God that's calling Israel out is AHAYAH. AHAYAH. He's the power that's calling the people out. And so we are to gather ourselves together and come out of Babylon and prepare to go into the wilderness to serve our power. AHAYAH. AHAYAH. So if we can come on one accord on that note, then we can come on accord in how to prepare and how to get ourselves together. But the first things first, you must come out of Babylon. There is no salvation coming out of Babylon. AHAYAH said in Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people, that you not partake in her sins. There's a destruction going on in the earth because of the wickedness of the earth. We have to come out of that in order to start to purge ourselves, in order to start to get ourselves together, to become a nation again, prepare to become a nation again. So I urge that you are paying attention and you're not asleep, as 1 Thessalonians 5 tells us, that you are not in darkness, that you are the children of the light. So you should not be asleep or in drunken, in a drunken state where you don't know what's going on. You know what's going on. The Most High said, come out of her for a reason. So I showed you all these clips, and I'm putting these things together for you so that you can see this is what Jacob's trouble is about. It's upon us. Do not sit in Babylon and wait for a natural disaster to take you into a FEMA camp, because then it's too late. And I'm so sorry that so many people did not believe and trust. For those of us that are here, we are preparing. There's a community of us that are preparing here to get ready to go into the wilderness. And I urge that you come out and join us. You can contact us at itoldyatravel@yahoo.com. That's ITOJA travel@yahoo.com. You can go to our website at Israelites, the letter 4 real.com, and check out all the things that we've put together so that it can make things easier for you, so you can know what to do, where to go, and what's expected, and how to maintain yourself. So if you send me an email, I can send you a lot of information about Jordan and how you can survive here until we are actually ready to go into the wilderness. Okay? So please get yourselves together. There's a lot going on. People are trying to keep you still so that you can sit and wait for destruction. Please get out of Babylon. There's a way you can survive. There is a safe place for the Most High's people. He said within his borders. And I'll put all the descriptions you need so that you can understand. I'll put videos that I've made so that you can understand it's time to come out of Babylon. That place is going to be destroyed. Okay? So if you need information on housing or travel, please send me an email. itoldyatravel@yahoo.com. Okay? I have to say all glory and praise to AHAYAH, AHAYAH, Bahasham Yeshaya.